Welcome to the practice today, yogis. Today is day 19 in the 30-day yoga series. Get on your mat. For the practice today, please have 2 blocks and a yoga strap or something similar that you could use in your practice. Today's practice will be a 20-minute gentle practice. Let's begin by coming into an easy seat. I'll use my yoga block to sit on. You can cross your legs. Another option, especially if your knees are higher than your hips, is you can place 2 pillows, one underneath each knee. And that way you want to have the knees supported and held. Place the hands onto the knees or the thighs, close the eyes, and we'll start the practice. Take a nice long sigh out through the mouth. Relax your eyes, relax your face, and settle down into the practice. You can roll the shoulders to the ears and down the back a few times as you breathe out through the mouth. One more time. Let's bring our thumbs into our heart space, Anjali Mudra, and setting an affirmation for our practice today. As you feel your breath coming and going, allow it now to move in and out through the nose into your Ujjayi breath. I find balance in all aspects of my life, both on and off the mat. I find balance in all aspects of my life, both on and off the mat. I find balance in all aspects of my life, both on and off of my mat. Let your hands come down onto the knees. Give yourself a few moments to think about that affirmation and what it means to you in your life. Rest your tongue on the roof of the mouth. Start to press down through the sitting bones and up through the crown of the head. Now, to invite a little relaxation into this practice today, we'll come into a breathing pattern to start the class today. So bring the hands onto the belly. I want you to take a full breath into the belly, and then we'll exhale 2/3 out through the nose and 1/3 out through the mouth. So you can let the eyes close as you do this. Fill the belly completely. 2/3 out through the nose, and the rest out through the mouth. With ease. Again. Into the belly, out through the nose, out through the mouth. So find the balance that's right for you. You can count the breath in, out through the nose, 2/3, out through the mouth. A couple more times through. Relax the face, upper back. And slowly let the eyes start to open. Turn the palms to face up on the thighs. So you can do that pranayama anytime you feel that you need a little balance and relaxation. So if you're sitting on a block, go ahead and take it out from underneath. Bring it out to the top of the mat. You can cross your legs the opposite direction. And we'll start with seated cow and cat. Inhale into cow pose, exhale into cat pose. Just a few times to get the spine warmed up. Nice, gentle exhalations. You can let the exhale be a little longer than the inhale today. One more time. From here, we'll twist from left and right. Breathe the arms up. Exhale over to the left. Come back to center. Exhale over to the right. So as you come back to center, you can bring your body down onto the ground to lie on your back. Go ahead and have the blocks where you can reach them. So as you come down onto your back, roll down and bend the legs. Separate the feet about hips distance. Let the knees sway a little bit from right to left, just feeling any tightness in the low back. I'm going to get into the psoas muscle a little bit today, or the hip flexor. And we'll take the block, and you can place the block underneath the sacrum. You could also do this without a block. Notice my block is on the lowest position. Now from here, stretch the left leg straight, and just start with the right leg bent and see how that feels. So breathe into your belly as we were doing earlier, and try to feel a softening into that muscle that runs from your thigh bone through the pelvis, attaching into the low back. You can bring the right knee into the chest if you want it to go a little further. And you could set the right foot back down. If you feel that you need a little bit more intensity, you could turn the block a little higher onto the medium position, making sure that you're fully supported. And we'll go to the second side. So begin to slide the right leg out, nice and straight. Find the position of the block that you want to start with, and work with your breath. So as you breathe and use your diaphragm, it also helps to stretch the psoas. I'll put a little picture or clip of the muscle here so that you can see it and really observe where it attaches into. Sometimes it helps to visually see it. So as you breathe in and out, you can try to soften those spaces. Now set your right foot back down, lift your hips up, and release the blocks. So you might want to move the blocks down to your sides now and stretch the legs out nice and straight. This is like a crescent moon shaped on the ground. So reach your arms overhead and walk your feet over to the left as far as they can go, and then move the arms and the head over to the left. You can take your left hand onto the right wrist, and then again, let the eyes close and feel the breath. Breathe into the whole right side of the body, just welcoming in balance as you practice through this gentle yoga class today. Sometimes we need a more energetic class. Other days we need something more relaxing, perhaps more stretching or strengthening. So finding the balance that's right for you today. Now we're going to go to the second side. So walk your feet past the midline over to the right. And then take the right hand to the left wrist, tug the body over to the right. And feel the feet touching at the big toes and the heels. Feel both sitting bones down on the ground. Feel both. Feel the pelvis down on the ground. Feel the sacrum down on the ground. And again, invite 3 breaths. Breathing in and out. Feel the belly descend down into the spine. And come back to center. Bring the knees into the chest now. Lower the arms. Hug the hands right below the kneecaps. And just move the thigh bones away from each other. You can take them a little bit wider with your breath, inhaling and exhaling. And some days you start to notice that you're off balance. Maybe you keep stubbing your toe, or maybe you bump your arm into things. So these are kind of signals in life that are telling us something is not balanced. You can rock forwards and back a few times. If that doesn't feel good for you, then just roll onto your right or your left side and push yourself up. So from here, we'll come up, step the left foot back, and we'll move into a low lunge. Except today, we're going to take our hands on the inside of our right foot. So I like to use one block. You can also use two. Take your right foot a little bit more to the right so it's a wider stance. Then you start to get into the hips a bit further. You can untuck your back toes, pad the back knee if you find that it is uncomfortable. And instead of letting the head hang and the upper back round, try to lift the chin and the chest a little bit. So we're opening the psoas again. From here, you can maybe take your left forearm down onto the ground. See how that feels. Maybe your right forearm onto the ground. And if you feel like you can move the blocks all together, we'll do that as well. Now, as you hold this pose, take your right inner thigh and press it to the outer right shoulder. Look down at your right foot and you'll see that you're pressing to the inside and the outside of the foot. Notice if you're leaning to the pinky toe edge side, find your balance right in the center. So you can feel the back side of the body is receiving breath as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, soften the front side of the body. One more breath. Rise up very gently. So from here, lift up off your back knee. Walk your right foot back for downward facing dog. Press the hands down and forwards. You're welcome to take a child's pose instead. A little bend in the knees. And since you have the blocks today, go ahead and grab a block and place it between your inner thighs. Squeeze the inner thighs together and imagine pressing the block back behind you. See how that works for you. From there, lower down onto the knees, release the block, and take the left foot forwards between the hands to start. Once you find your balance, you can move your left foot to the inside, or the left foot to the outside of the hands. Untuck your back toes. Check that your ankle is right under your knee. Let that back thigh start to descend and relax, lifting the chin and the chest. Feel the right leg releasing and letting go. And you can start to bring the forearm down. Start with your right forearm, then the left forearm. You can take the palms together. Now watch that leg wants to drop out. Press it in. So left inner thigh or left inner edge of the knee pressing into left shoulder. Still, the chin is coming down a little bit, lengthening the back of the neck. And we start to invite some space now into the hips, psoas, the upper back. A nice full body release. You might even close your eyes, resting the third eye on the thumbs, feeling balance in your breathing pattern. Just letting the eyes close and feel a softening as you welcome balance into your posture. You can untuck the toes, lift the back knee off the ground, and step back again either to down dog or child's pose. Knees open wide if you're coming into child's pose, hands forwards, forehead to the earth. And from here, you can rise up onto the hands and the knees. We're going to come forwards now, so walk your feet forwards. We're going to take our feet as wide as our hands, as wide as our mat. Bend the knees, come into a nice deep forward fold. Let the head release, looking down between the legs. You can either let the hands stay on the ground, you can take them to the elbows, or you can bring them behind the back into Yoga Mudra, reaching the knuckles up towards the sky above. Softening in the upper back. into the neck, shoulders, hamstrings. You might breathe out through your mouth. And then slowly release the hands down to the ground. Rise up halfway onto the fingers. And then turn the toes out. We're going to come into Malasana or Yogi Squat. So if you find that your hips are very tight and your heels are off the ground, you could put a towel roll under your heels. You want to try to move the heels down to the ground and bring the feet slowly over time closer and closer together. Bring the forearms, bring the elbows into the inner thigh on each side, fingertips to touch. Spread your toes. Take an inhale into the heart space, that space right between your lungs, and softening deep into your hip creases. You can still notice the belly expanding and descending, so staying in tune with your balance. And from there, you can release out of the pose by folding forwards once again, walking the feet a little closer together. Release the head and the neck, maybe turn from right to left a few times. Take a nice long sigh out through your mouth. Rise up halfway, inhale, and exhale and fold. From here, you can lower down onto the sit bones, stretch the legs out in front once again, and lower down so slowly onto your back. Now you can grab a hold of your strap. We're going to use the strap now to get the outer band of the leg, the IT band. Place the strap beneath your right foot and press your right leg up towards the ceiling and back towards the top of your mat where your head is. Press your left leg down and forwards. Take a few deep breaths. Then you can bend your left leg, move your hips a bit to the right, and start to take the right leg across the body, holding the strap in your left hand. Reach your right arm out to the side, keeping both shoulders down on the ground. Pay close attention to your breath, and if you notice that your breath feels held, bend your right leg a little bit. Once your leg is vertical, move your hips back to the center. Stretch your left leg down onto the mat, and take the strap into your right hand. As you move your right leg out to the right, press your left leg down and forwards, beginning to stretch the inner thigh on the right leg. Feel the belly rising up and down. Inhale, bring the leg back up to vertical, and slowly lower the leg all the way to the earth. Pause so you can feel the balance before switching to the left foot. Move the hips back to center and place the strap at the bottom of the left foot. As you reach the left foot up towards the sky above, straighten your right leg and start to bring the toes back towards the top of your mat. Place the strap into the right hand and let the leg come across the body as the left shoulder stays grounded. I always like to place my left thumb into the left hip crease to lengthen the left side of the body. Definitely give it a try if you have not done so before. Lift the leg back up to vertical, and we'll take the strap into the left hand and out to the left side, getting into the left inner thigh. You can press the right hand on top of the right thigh, pressing down into the right heel. Inhale, bring the leg all the way back up to vertical and lower the leg effortlessly, using the strap to lower the leg, sliding it through the palms of the hands and releasing it down onto the surface of the earth. Now release the strap and push it off to the side, and we'll stretch the legs out towards the corners of your mat. Bring the arms down by your sides and turn the palms to face upward. Close your eyes And we'll come into our final resting pose, Shavasana, also known as corpse pose. Let your breath begin to fade off into the distance as you feel your eyes relaxing, beginning to look inwards, feeling your body getting heavy on the ground beneath you, gazing into the heart space right between the lungs in the center of your being. Feel the body balanced and relaxed. As you gaze inwards, you might visualize a light to help the mind stay clear and quiet. You could also use an affirmation, I am balanced and I am at ease. Stay here for a couple more moments. Now, as you hear my voice, tell yourself it's time to awaken. Carefully and quietly start to awaken the body one breath at a time. You might stretch the arms overhead and squeeze the legs strong, shifting your body onto your left side, resting your head on your arm, giving yourself a couple of moments here in the fetal position. You might inquire inwards and ask yourself, where might you find balance off of your mat? When you're ready, push yourself up ever so gently, returning into an easy seated position. Bring the fingertips to touch in front of the heart space. We'll close the practice today with a quote by Jonna Kingsford. Balance is not something you find, it's something you create. May you find the courage to make small changes off of your mat to create the balance you need in your life. Namaste. Thank you for joining the practice. Be sure to check out a meditation if you have time, or a longer Shavasana. See you tomorrow.